In his clash with Kirill Grishenko, Mauro Cerilli suffered a leg fracture, pain clearly written across his face. But before that, he showed incredible grit and power. Let's rewind and witness how it all unfolded. The fight between Mauro Cerilli and Alan Galani kicked off with Cerilli charging forward with explosive pressure. Right from the opening seconds, he asserted dominance with an aggressive game plan. Cerilli gave his opponent no room to breathe. He quickly closed the distance and locked onto Alan Galani, a heavyweight powerhouse tipping the scales at over 100 kilograms. With raw strength and superior technique, Cerilli executed a spectacular takedown, lifting Galani clean off the ground. Both fighters were airborne before Cerilli slammed Galani to the canvas with thundering force. That slam didn't just show Cerilli's strength. It left the crowd in disbelief, watching one man overpower an opponent of such size and stature. After that opening takedown, Cerilli kept the pressure relentless. He refused to let Galani catch a breath, closing the distance again, this time aiming to sweep the base leg. And he did it. With precision and power, Cerilli took Galani off balance, sending him crashing to the mat. Cerilli wasted no time. He immediately mounted his opponent, locking down the upper body. Galani tried to twist, turn, and shift to escape, but against a powerhouse like Cerilli, it was all in vain. Cerilli's control was absolute. The bout became one-sided, with Galani stuck in survival mode. Victory went to Mauro Cerilli, a well-deserved win after such a dominant showing. The fight opened at a cautious pace. Both fighters took time to feel each other out, probing for weaknesses. Abdulbasir Vagabov was the first to initiate. He closed the distance, looking for an opening to exploit. Meanwhile, Cerilli chose to circle around the cage, keeping space and avoiding early entanglement. Vagabov ramped up the pressure, grabbing Cerilli's upper body, trying to muscle him down to the mat.
Very good, all is well. I like what they see so far from the hammer.
Cerilli told me earlier this week that he expected to counter-punch off of Vagabov's big right hand. That's what the footwork is. That's where he's trying to get. He's trying to counter that big right hand that he knows Vagabov is going to try to throw. But he's circling to the correct side, though.
He's covering a lot of the circle early here. Is Mauro Cerilli. The Italian now gets the center circle. Jab 2 from him.
But Mauro, with experience and solid base, held firm. He defended expertly, proof that he had studied his opponent's grappling-heavy style.
Jab 2 again from Cerilli. Brings in a 46% knockout ratio, 23% submission ratio. 7 KOs in 12 wins for Vagabov, who has a 92% win rate.
Close that distance. Right now he's got a high crotch. Transitions to a double leg. Goes back to the single. Good job so far by Cerilli. Dig that underhook, separate the legs, and try to pull him up. He does not want to allow Vagabov to drop down, get those legs nice and tight, and clasp his hands.
Vagabov's intention was clear. He wanted this fight on the ground. He kept closing in, hunting for clinches and opportunities to drag Cerilli down. But Mauro wasn't just defending. He began countering, launching strikes mid-transition.
How do you see the debut of Vagabov so far, Dragon?
Vagabov, he keeps trying to close that distance. He wants to get in nice and tight. You can see that Cerilli has a nice little advantage on the feet. He's moving well, sticking out that jab, circling away, avoiding the damage. But I think Vagabov wants to...
On more than one occasion, Cerilli caught Vagabov backing out and landed sharp punches, throwing in lightning-quick kicks to keep him guessing. The fight turned into a chess match. Vagabov pressed forward, aiming to clinch and control, while Cerilli circled and waited for his moment to strike back.
Mauro Cerilli, left hook, needed the right hand over it though. Did you expect Vagabov to start like this dragon, or do you think
The crowd held their breath with every move. In a heavyweight bout like this, a single clean shot could flip the entire fight on its head.
Well, he knows that Vagabov wants to get it nice and tight and go to war inside that phone booth. He's really moving around well, circling to the weak side, putting out that jab and staying away from danger.
Mauro Cerilli backed Vagabov into the fence. He let loose with a barrage of heavy punches, each one loaded with full-body power, targeting the face and upper torso. Vagabov turtled up, absorbing the storm. The fight became lopsided. Cerilli stayed on the attack, suffocating his opponent's offense.
final 10 seconds of the round? What about a front kick to Cerilli?
Mauro began reading Vagabov's defensive patterns. He waited, watched, and then picked his shots. No more random strikes. He was now hunting with cold precision.
Cerilli's corner telling him all good. Use your left hand to set up the right hand.
Late in round 2, Cerilli turned up the heat. He pinned Vagabov against the cage once again. In a flurry of aggression, Vagabov slipped and fell. With no way out, he covered up as Mauro pounced, raining down a brutal ground and pound. The audience held its breath, waiting for the referee to step in. Before the fight, Mauro Cerilli raised his hand to salute the crowd. Calm and composed, but radiating intensity, he took a deep breath, ready for war. The arena echoed with cheers for the Italian warrior.
Mauro Cerilli, 14-5, 10 finishes, a 71% finish rate. 9 of his 10 finishes have come by way of KO. His last 4 wins have been by knockout.
In the opposite corner, Paul Elliott answered the energy. He raised a clenched fist, eyes sharp, body coiled like a spring, the look of a man ready for battle, no backing down here.
Well, here is none other than Paul Elliott. He is 4-1, and let's just say, gentlemen, he doesn't like fights to last long. The average fight that he has had has been 62 seconds.
All right, you've been overruled. Protect yourself at all times. All my instructions. Fight, touch gloves, just do it.
Referee in charge, Reup, Dean, will it be?
From the opening bell, Mauro Cerilli wasted no time asserting his wrestling game. He pressured Elliott, cut angles, and used his weight like a battering ram. Every time Paul tried to create distance, Mauro steamrolled forward like a tank. Elliott responded with strength, trying to push back, but Cerilli's will to control the pace was undeniable.
Like Tom Aspinall, so he is confident in his ground game, but Cerilli is able to drag him down to the mat and begin his progression on Paul Elliott.
Yeah, this forward pressure from Cerilli really made Paul Elliott kind of decide what he needed to do. He needed to either heavily defend and move backward, we saw that before they hit the ground, or he had to...
After multiple failed sweeps, Mauro changed tactics. He shot in, grabbed a leg, and drove Elliott off balance. The fight hit the floor. Elliott scrambled, tried to retain guard, push hips, anything. But Mauro slowly tightened the noose. This was where technique and cardio took over. Cerilli hunted with calm, steady precision.
Face. Very calculated attack coming from the hammer.
Well, he's a judo black belt, and he was quite confident telling us that he felt his experience was going to be a significant factor in him coming out with the win here tonight at One Fight Night 14.
This is a bad position for Paul Elliott here. Cerilli's got a good grip on that hand behind his back.
Yeah, I spoke about those lunch boxes of hands that Mauro Cerilli has, but they're usually used for punching people in the face, but in this case, they're actually used to trapping the hand of Paul Elliott behind him, so he's unable to really properly defend. Let's see how Mauro Cerilli chooses to advance this position.
One thing we know about Cerilli, he likes to use knees to the body. We'll see if he tries to use some of those knees.
Looks like Elliott's hand is out now. Correct.
Good job by Paul Elliott to fight his way free from the handcuff position.
Half guard now is Mauro Cerilli.
Elliott looking for the Kimura there.
Well, Paul Elliott did say he was working on submissions, but to no avail as Cerilli's still on top of him. Cerilli from Italy, 14-5 with 10 finishes. Paul Elliott 4-1 with 4 knockouts.
I'd like to see Paul Elliott with that left arm start working that underhook. Cerilli has good top pressure, and that comes from that judo background. You know, Elliott right there needs to be using that left arm underneath so that he can start getting Cerilli's weight off him, creating some space so that Cerilli just can't freely tee off with good power on whether it's an elbow strike or fist of these lunch boxes that Mitch has been talking about.
We've been talking about the hands of Cerilli. He was a blacksmith before he became a fighter, hence the nickname the Hammer.
Good weight distribution.
On the mat, Mauro gained dominant position and began attacking in measured rhythm. Elliott resisted, rolling, framing, but Cerilli flowed with him, offering no space. From top control, Mauro started landing punches to the ribs and chest, forcing Elliott to brace under the Italian's crushing pressure.
Mauro Cerilli's going to look to try to posture up and start dropping those hammers down on the face of Paul Elliott. He's not even thinking about that underhook yet, Rich. He's just trying to control posture and keep Mauro Cerilli from dropping those ground and pound on him.
Also, let's remind the audience is that the bout is judged as a whole, so it is judged the entire body of work, not just round by round. As Elliott on the back, he's got to do some work here.
But Paul Elliott has been grappling a lot more as of late, so he's been, put in these positions all during training camp. So he is not unfamiliar there. He finally gets the underhook. Let's see if he can get off his back and work his way back up to his feet, because right now it is one-way traffic for Mauro Cerilli.
Little sharp elbow for Cerilli.
Big deep breaths from Elliott as he's trying to create a little bit of space, trying to push off.
The pace escalated. Mauro shifted targets, hammering the head. Ground and pound rained down. Blood started to flow from Elliott's forehead, then his nose. Every attempt to escape was met with another punishing flurry. The referee hovered close. The crowd roared as Mauro Cerilli turned the cage into his hunting ground, drawing blood and breaking will.
Elbow busted him up. Oh my Can he get it? But oh my goodness! Look at that blood! Paul Elliott is pouring out. He has a crimson mask. Well, I was right. We do see a minute 6, but it's not looking good for Paul Elliott here as they go to the stools.
They need to
I wouldn't carry on with that, but it's up to you.
That's the elbow that came in right there from Cerilli, and it's right on the corner of the eye. You can see it as Elliott's walking past me right now. This will be streaming down the side of the eye, so it shouldn't create any kind of vision problems. But you saw him motioning in the corner. He does have some sort of issue with his right arm.
Might have tore a bicep.
And this one is over. Reup Dean waves it off. And
The fight ended with Mauro rising from the canvas, soaked in sweat, eyes burning with victory. He raised both hands to the sky, roared, then dropped to slap the mat in triumph. He embraced his team in a wild celebration, fitting for such a dominant performance.
And yes, experience did prevail over the youth of the Englishman in Paul Elliott.
I just want to point out that this was wrong.
Victory number 15 for Cerilli, 11 finishes. He came into the fight with
The bout between Mauro Cerilli and Kirill Grishenko was billed as a heavyweight showdown. Power versus strategy, with both fighters boasting impressive records and aggressive styles.
Our global rules, 3 5-minute rounds. Fight is judged as a whole. Each to the head regarding what all legal no spike their throws on the head.
Grushenko entered with his signature mask, a stoic and chilling presence. He acknowledged the crowd with icy focus, fully locked in for battle.
MMA world champion Khan, and he has confidence that he can defeat Khan. Why? Because he has done it in a previous time.
Yeah, Grushenko is
Cerilli followed in a blue robe, walking to the cage through a wave of cheers, his face calm, eyes burning with fight fire.
It is Italy's Mauro, the Hammer Cerilli, coming in with 11 finishes to his credit. And Mitch, he looked mightily impressive the last time we saw a first-round TKO win over Paul Elliott.
Yeah, the Hammer is back in the building. He got that nickname because he
Finally, they met at center cage. Grushenko, tall and imposing, nodded respectfully, cold and composed. Cerilli didn't flinch. He stared his opponent down, eyes locked. They touched gloves, honoring the sport's tradition. The crowd erupted. This was it, the calm before the storm.
Holding an MMA record of 15 wins and 5 losses, with an impressive 11 finishes. Representing Italy, Mauro, the Hammer, Cerilli.
Come to the center, please. Listen, you both understand the rules. Let's keep this clean, keep it active. Obey my instructions at all times. Touch glove if you want, back to your corners.
Referee in charge, Mohammed.
The opening round was a tactical one. Both men maintained distance, circling, probing with low kicks and straight punches, testing reactions, searching for cracks. No one rushed. In a fight this dangerous, one mistake could be fatal.
Grushenko's bringing to this one, but the heavy-handed Cerilli is going to try to do what he can about it. Nice jab landed by Grushenko, who's looking light on the feet already.
Very elusive as well, Mitch.
Head movement, spent a lot of time boxing with the team out there in Belarus. Ready to bring a lot of heat into this one. Well, he's going to have to get past that.
Then Mauro flipped the switch. He exploded forward like a whirlwind. Heavy punches flew toward Kirill's face and body. Grushenko stumbled under the pressure, backpedaling as Mauro stayed on him like a shadow. 1, 2, 3. Clean shots. Kirill had no choice but to clinch, trying to stall the onslaught.
Both men have dynamite in their hands. They can end the fight with just one shot.
Nice leg kick right there landed by Grushenko, who said he's been spending a lot of time working on the other weapons of Muay Thai as well. Wants to add in the elbows, knees, and kicks to this fight. He goes up top and then puts that jab out there. So he's really staying at the end of these shots. He's got to get close. He's got to close that distance.
Stiff jab there by Grushenko. Mitch, at this point, is Cerilli trying to invite him in so that he can throw that overhand right?
I mean, he could be, but I don't think Grushenko's going to fall for it. Grushenko's very slick.
You saw a double jab from Grushenko and a push kick as well.
Yeah, you can already see the stomach of Cerilli busted up. That's what he needs to do. He needs to make this thing dirty.
Another left hook there by Cerilli. Right hand. Big power shots from Mauro Cerilli. Yeah, heavy-handed indeed is the Italian.
Yes, he is. The Hammer has earned that nickname.
Cerilli put an uppercut from Grushenko. There
In the heat of the clinch battle, Mauro suddenly pulled back, grimacing, hand to his eye. Something was wrong. The ref stepped in. Slow-motion replays revealed that during the exchange, Grushenko had accidentally poked Mauro in the eye. No intent, but the impact was severe.
On the entry, I believe it was just Grushenko putting his hand out there as a defensive strategy, and just, yeah, you can see, yeah, he just framed off. He was trying to block the hands with open glove, and then just slid off the hand and went right into the eye of Cerilli.
Cerilli will have some time to recuperate. Speaking with our Circle
inside position. Doc Warren.
Right as Mauro was landing big shots too, and that eye is it's closed. Looks to be quite painful too. He's wincing. Yeah, you can see the swelling that's occurred almost immediately. Yeah, Mauro looks like he's in pain, right?
That's unfortunate because he was starting to have success, and both men were starting to let the leather fly here.
Yeah, and Cerilli found a way to work his way onto the inside and was landing big shots, hurting Grushenko. Nothing malicious in Grushenko's response. He didn't mean to do it, but it happens, you know? Especially when you're trying to do that long guard. You gotta have your fingers pointed up to the lights.
They're still checking and observing Mauro Cerilli. Cerilli's left eye being looked at.
Yeah, Ray, safety is our #1 priority, and they are not going to let him continue unless he is perfectly capable of doing so. Yeah, it looks like Doc Warren has some concerns. He really mentioned.
After medical attention, Mauro made his decision. He stood, eyes steely with resolve, and returned to the center. The crowd roared. The fight resumed. Mauro stayed alert, circling, calculating. He darted in and out, still seeking the finish.
Grushenko's going to have to stay on the outside, and it is clear that when Cerilli closes the distance, he can unload those proverbial hammers upon Kirill Grushenko.
Oh, that was a nice right hand, though. That slipped right through the guard of Cerilli.
Big right hand over the top by Grushenko. I'm surprised Grushenko has abandoned the jab because it was working to his benefit earlier in the round.
Nice leg kick right there, too, as he gets back into the clinch.
Cerilli shrugs off Kirill Grushenko as we are under 2 minutes remaining.
Then it happened. Kirill landed a pinpoint low kick to Mauro's lead leg. A brutal shot. Mauro staggered, clearly shaken. His movement began to falter. Moments later, Mauro crumbled to the canvas, face twisted in agony, clutching his leg. He couldn't stand. Something was wrong, seriously wrong. Referee intervened. Medics rushed in. Mauro lay on his side, motionless. Kirill stood in silence, awaiting the call. The entire arena froze. An unfortunate end loomed near.
Right as he was coming forward, so all that weight of Cerilli is on that lead leg, and then just chopping down the massive tree. Great timing on that leg kick, and immediately Cerilli knew that was it.
Kirill Grushenko picks up the 7th.
The fight was called. Kirill Grushenko declared winner by TKO due to injury, a bittersweet ending. Mauro had shown heart, control, and power throughout. Without the injury, this battle could have gone the distance.
And what a win by Kirill Grushenko, who stops Mauro Cerilli. And for Grushenko, he wants to be able to rise up the rankings, and he will do so with performances like that. And another big win for Kirill Grushenko of Belarus. Yeah.
What do you think? Would Kirill have kept control if Mauro hadn't been injured? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more electrifying highlights.
Just a beautifully timed, short little leg kick. Caught Cerilli right on the right spot. Getting a big win in the very first round, Ray.
A massive